What is really important here is what is across the street from them. You see, across the street from them. And we're gonna do a walkthrough today of what I believe will be the new outreach center for the Hope ConneXion. So let's do a quick walkthrough and see what's here so we can understand what we're gonna be and what we're gonna be about. As we come up to the doors, it doesn't look like a normal church building. And that concept didn't leave me behind when I was looking at the facility. It doesn't need to look like a normal church building. It needs to look like an outreach center. And coming into the outreach center, the first thing people are gonna see until we start playing with it is kind of an entrance way. It doesn't always look like a church, more looks like a waiting room. But as we go in, there's lots of good spaces that we can work with. Like, I love this space. This space would be a perfect place to, well, number one, turn into a parlor, because it does have some windows and a nice way to look. But we can also put a TV on the wall and do overflow for worship time if we do have worship services. Fireplace adds a nice little touch. And I think it works for us in general. But the really nifty thing is that there's a 3/4 bath hidden in the back with a very large closet, so we can store clothes and stuff for people who get out of jail. They can come take a shower and they can get prepared and get into life and not feel dirty from being in jail. You feel dirty when you leave that place. But continuing on with the walkthrough, so we have a parlor room, a bathroom, which is great. And there was a door there that goes into the garage, but I'll show you in a different way. Here's a small office space. I think this would work for, well, almost anything. It could be a small classroom space, but it would have to be limited to probably smaller groups or smaller children. I believe this should be our associate pastor, the office for them. It's got a sink, and doesn't really need to have a sink, but it works okay. Continuing on down the hallway, there is a water fountain. We've got it unplugged right now because of COVID. But there's another good room back here, and it's got the internet hookups. And this entire building is hit with a Cat 5 so we don't have to run wireless all the time. So we don't have some issues. Now, this goes out into more of the garage type area, and there's a storage room out here. There's a hot water heater in here. It's on the other side of that bathroom. What I'd like to place in here eventually is a washer and dryer so we can wash clothes for those who come out and make sure that everything's clean. But continuing on, we go into an outside space. The outside space is right out here. This is a 4-car garage, or at least it doesn't have any overhead door, but it would be a perfect space for an outside area for youth. Put ping pong tables, pipe out Christian music, have a good time. And plus, this door goes back into that bathroom there. So we can have a secret play for people to get in so they don't feel like they're being judged by the community. So back into the main of the building, and back into air conditioning. This is southern Arkansas. We continue through the hallways here, and we come into our second really big space. And I believe this would be perfect for classrooms. It's a nice big room. As we can see, at one point in time, it was an office, maybe filing cabinets. You can see where there were several desks and the carpets. Of course, the carpets are gonna have to go. But it does offer us a very large space to use, and it comes with ceiling fans, which also help out. I think this could be subdivided possibly into smaller classrooms. It does have a slight echo. And as we continue down the hallway, this goes back into that office that you could see through the windows as you came in. And I would like to actually point out this wall right here leads directly into where our worship space is going to be. I would like to hit that wall right there, cut a hole in it and possibly put windows in it. Another pastor in town said he'd volunteer some windows or donate some windows so we could do some things to the building to make it look kind of cool and sort of retro. And then we go into what will be our worship space. And I know right now it doesn't look like much because this was an office building. I'm going to take those cabinets out. And there is another thing in here that definitely hits people. There is a large fireproof vault. This was an assessor's office. They had surveys, all kinds of paperwork in here. This would make a fantastic library for later on. It is also a nice shelter, so if there's a need for a tornado shelter, this building in this room is especially designed for that, to protect documents, and it can protect people. That wall I'd like to see come out as well, so we can extend the worship space into yet another room. And I think comfortably we could fit around 60 or so individuals, but it would have to be with COVID understandings. And this door would have to move out just a little bit. It's not a bad door. In fact, I want the door to stay. But move the door forward on the frame to the next spot so there's not necessarily an entryway, because this has to be either an emergency exit or an exit into what would be the worship space across from the pastor's office, because I think this is the office that I'm going to take. So we don't have to do a whole lot of work in here. I'd love the wood panels to eventually go away, but we are who we are and we have what money we have. And these can be turned into shelves very easy. And it would offer us a nice space to counsel and work with individuals. Now, as we continue down this hallway next to the worship area, there's obviously closets all along the way. It's the hot water heater. But then we start turning into things. We have 2 half baths that would be normal congregant half baths, things that we could use for everybody. We could designate one a male, one a female, just simple half baths. But right next to that was what was a break room, but is also a little kitchenette. So, and yes, I know that is very old. It's old school, it's kind of cool. I've never heard of Gafers and Sattler before, but it is a General Electric stove and refrigerator. But it's right next to that brick wall, so it adds a nice accent. And we might be able to make some space and remove closets, but we're gonna have to talk about that with architects and electrical engineering. But this would be a nice space. Maybe even take this wall out so it doesn't subdivide it so much. It makes it feel more open. For the most part, this is our space. I truly see that it will turn into something, and I cannot wait until walls start moving, until things start closing. And I just wanted to give you an intro, an idea of what we are and where we're gonna be and how this facility is gonna be best utilized to serve God and to serve the community of Hope, Arkansas. So thank you so much for listening to this, and I pray that you are able to come down and come see this space in person. You can contact me, Pastor Adam, anytime you'd like. My phone number is area code 785-969-2456, and we just want to welcome you to possibly the new building of Hope, the new building of the Hope ConneXion here in Hope, Arkansas. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.